Welcome everybody. My name's Jeremy with Dell Technologies. And I'm here with Steen Graham, who's the CEO of Scalers AI, and today we're going to talk about the industrial metaverse.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. And not only thanks for shooting this video with me, but also thanks so much for the access to such incredible hardware. I think we've been doing some work that's on the cutting edge, and it's in a field, in a domain that really requires cutting edge technology and resources to drive transformation. We've been building this proof of concept for the industrial metaverse, particularly in the oil and gas sector. And so we're targeting oil and gas facilities, like offshore oil and gas facilities, where we actually don't have really good data sets, and we need to create synthetic data sets in the metaverse, be able to simulate environments, and then ultimately deploy technology after we've done all that hard work on simulation, including training on synthetic data, transfer learning those computer vision models in synthetic data, and then deploying them at the edge to drive better, safer environments, more productivity, and help challenge predictive maintenance applications as well to increase uptime and ultimately increase the sustainability of those facilities. So really exciting stuff, so much technology and such a fantastic use case.
We're really thrilled to be able to deploy the R760XA and 4 L40S GPUs to leverage them in such a novel and exciting use case, which I don't think many people have much exposure to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that's really critical about the technology, as you alluded to, is we're actually training, or we're conducting transfer learning with that synthetic data on the 760XA with those L40 GPUs, but we're also deploying that same system. So it's our training system and our deployment system, and that's because it's packed with great GPUs and ultimately great hardware from the PowerEdge and Dell team. But something you said at the onset of that was, even more important is everybody's asking, hey, what's the use case for the industrial metaverse? And right, when you find these bespoke, highly rugged environments that not a lot of humans can go to, like offshore drilling, you need to be able to simulate that environment before you deliver cutting edge technologies. I know one of your favorite things on this solution is we have autonomous mobile robot. But before we send that robot to the oil and gas facility to, look at chemical spills and increase worker safety and be able to analyze the environment around them. So, more workers can sit at home and see those facilities, when they're with their family versus on that rig. Before we can do that, we have to simulate that environment, because we can't send a development team and an engineering team to an offshore oil rig to get that robot set up, ready to go to solve those problems. So the synthetic environment in the metaverse is really the hack that allows us to go to these rugged, remote places and deliver innovative technology so humans are safer, more productive. We increase our sustainability impact as well. And then, employees can work from home and use the robot to look at those facilities and increase uptime as well. It's really an incredible use case from the industrial metaverse and a fantastic time, thanks to the great hardware from the Dell PowerEdge team.
Absolutely. So there's a really solid pre-deployment and post-deployment story here. We can also see continuous improvement and continuous training as well within the environment.
Absolutely. And where are we going to see this live this year, Jeremy? Do you think should we put this to the test, the development environment and the deployment environment? What are you thinking?
If knowledge serves me, I believe that we'll see this in Sin City, Vegas, in May at Dell Tech World.
What's going to be really cool about that is, obviously on this video you'll get our update on it and our architecture. But what's really going to be incredible at Dell Tech World is we'll have a live autonomous mobile robot. So we'll put that synthetic data to the test, and we'll train it real time and get it up and running for Dell Tech World this May. And one idea though, Jeremy, is we can't put chemical spills over Vegas and detect chemical spills. So what are we going to have to detect with these autonomous mobile robots? You got any ideas?
It's going to have to be swag.
Yeah.
It'll have to be swag.
Can we get some cool swag?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we've had a really good high-level look at the industrial metaverse, Steen, can you give us a walkthrough of the architecture, and then maybe we can take a look at a demo?
Absolutely. I know we've already talked at length about the PowerEdge 760XA platform packed with those 4 L40 NVIDIA-based GPUs, and they are the foundation for both the training environment and the deployment environment. But to make that possible, or this use case possible, we had a lot of software support via NVIDIA through the Omniverse console, the Isaac simulation environment. In addition to that, we've added capabilities like OPC UA, so we can take sensor data that's coming off critical infrastructure like chillers and predict downtime and failures and be able to address those critical downtime and failures. We've also added the NVIDIA DeepStream console because we're transcoding a ton of video and running AI in the video. So those autonomous mobile robots, using that camera to detect chemical spills, that's a workload that's running through that NVIDIA DeepStream platform with an optimization there. The other critical piece on the visualization dashboard is we've also built out a WebRT streamer so we can get near real-time analysis of what's going on in that oil and gas facility, so that operator can look at all those robots operating, detect chemical spills, downtime, other critical issues in near real time. And of course, when we deploy in Vegas, we'll have the Nova Carter robot, and that'll be deployed in real time, and we'll be detecting that swag that Jeremy alluded to earlier. Now let's take a look at the simulation environment. Here we're showcasing the industrial metaverse via the Isaac simulation console from NVIDIA. In this console, though, we've actually developed the emulation of the oil and gas facility here. And what you'll see in this screen is the autonomous mobile robot is now looking around the facility for chemical spills. So this is a type of objective that we train it for. And then ultimately we take this synthetic data, we transfer learn it, and then deploy it in a production environment once we have a sufficient data set. In the next console, this is actually the factory operator dashboard. So once we're in a production environment, the factory operator, who now doesn't need to be at the offshore oil and gas facility, that person can now be remote. The autonomous mobile robot is now at the facility. You can see we have multiple screens showcasing the video display. And then we're also running AI on the L40 GPUs from NVIDIA. So we're running that decode and AI inference workload looking for that chemical spills here in this operator dashboard view. The other thing that we've added to this as well is we also have an API to send text messages. So if there is a chemical spill or a critical issue, the operator doesn't have to look at the dashboard the entire time. They get a notification on that as well.
And if you'd like to see the industrial metaverse in action, join us in Las Vegas in May, Dell Tech World.
Live robots.